Hello and welcome to the Financial Bunny TV. My name is Nicolette Mashile. I am also known as your Financial Bunny. On today's episode, we're talking all things ACCA. Now, if you did not know, ACCA is a professional accountancy body right here in South Africa, and they now have been awarded an accreditation with the IRBA. I'm quite excited about this conversation because often people ask this question: how do I become a chartered accountant? How do I become an auditor? How do I become a professional in the taxation space? And that's exactly what we're going to be discussing in today's conversation. But I'm also joined by an astute professional. It is Manenzhe Manenzhe, who is a seasoned public sector finance executive, currently serving as CFO at the National Heritage Council of South Africa. Now, in his previous roles, he was CFO of the South African National Parliament from 2013 to 2019, where he achieved clean audits. Now, that's what you need. And if you've watched our live session with Portia Mkabela, you'll remember that she spoke a lot about ethics within the industry. And I'm quite interested to hear what Manenzhe Manenzhe will say about that, because for you to be able to achieve such clean audits requires a certain character from you as an individual. He's an alumni of the University of Venda, a fellow chartered certified accountant with an advanced qualification in South African taxation, investment appraisal, and leadership. He also won the Public Sector CFO Award of the Year at ACCA Global Awards last year. Mr. Manenzhe, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I'm quite interested in finding out, you've just joined the National Heritage Council of Southern Africa. What has that been like for you?
For me, it was a very good and let me say I was well received. It is not one of the biggest organizations I've worked for, but it is one of the organizations that I should say has one of the biggest mandate. And for me, ever since I joined and I started working here, not even a single day that I had any regrets. So I am happy and I'm looking forward. And I've joined a very good team, a very dynamic team who understands what they are doing, who understand the role of the institution, what is its mandate in terms of the legislation. And that is what encourages one, to join a team of people who know where we are going.
I like that. I mean, you've also worked for City of Johannesburg, which means that you've got a soft spot for public sector. Perhaps if you can just give us a bit of a snippet in terms of what is the impact that you hope to make within public sector through your work?
As a public servant, public service is not a job.
Yes.
I believe it's a calling, mainly based on the challenges that it comes with. Because you have to first start by putting the public first before your interest. It is because the responsibility that you're trusted with, if you don't do it well, it affects someone's life out there. To change people's lives, to improve people's lives, to ensure that also the world we live in, as we always say, we did not inherit it from our ancestors.
Yes.
But we have actually borrowed it from our next generation, our kids. What do we want to leave behind?
Yeah, sure. And I think that goes to that whole sustainability conversation.
Yes.
You grew up in Venda?
Yes, I grew up in a lot of places, but Venda being most of it.
Yes, so Venda were your former years?
Yes.
And then where do you finish off high school?
I finished my high school in Venda.
Okay, and then what are your first thoughts in terms of career path at that point?
At that time, I would lie to you if I tell you that I chose my own career.
Okay.
It was chosen for me.
Okay.
By my uncle. I don't know what is it that he saw in me.
Yes.
But when I did my matric in 1990, I passed, but I didn't get what you call today a bachelor.
Okay.
I got a diploma at the time.
Yes.
But then what my uncle did, he called my parents and said I failed. So I repeated. I didn't even went to collect or go to collect the statement of results because
it was just done.
Once he said I failed, I failed.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what is written.
Yes.
So I repeated that. And when I passed, he also decided which university I'm going to go to.
Okay.
So definitely that is what when I say I did not choose it, it was chosen.
Yes, for you. Is
Yes.
your uncle still alive?
No, unfortunately, we lost him during the COVID days.
But I'm sure he's so proud of you wherever he is. I mean, you've got so many accolades. You've worked for some of, the best institutions. When do you meet ACCA?
I met ACCA, it was around about 1992.
Okay.
The university that I went to was not accredited in terms of producing what you call today a CTA that can get one legible.
Yes, yes.
Which today it is accredited.
Yes, yes.
But what we did, we invited ACCA in our university.
Okay.
We invited CICA. We invited one of or two of the big, at that time we still big five accounting firms. We were very fascinated also by comparing the US GAAP, the British GAAP, and the South African GAAP, and all those sort of things. And then we then say, but if the ACCA is giving you a global recognition, why do I want to limit myself? At that time, that is what we thought. But today, it's not necessarily the case, but still, I will choose ACCA.
Okay. And how was the journey?
I like to always associate the ACCA journey with the comrade journey.
Okay.
That when you want to run comrades, you don't think about it as a journey of 90 kilometers.
Yes.
But you want to think about it as 4 half marathons.
Okay.
21, 21, 21, 21.
Yes.
That way, it helps you to keep on putting one foot in front of another. For me to ultimately pass the exams, when I was still working for National Energy Regulator of South Africa, almost every Friday, I will, when I leave work, drive across the border of Botswana to a college called Arthur Portland in Botswana. And that's where I studied.
Okay.
Because I realized that within South Africa, I was not getting tuition providers who were inclined with the international accounting standards.
Yes.
And when I went to Botswana, I found people who understood international accounting standards, strategy, and all the papers, that modules that we write in ACCA.
Yes.
And that is what helped me. But also passion, also determination, and also believing in yourself. Because it's going to get difficult. It's going to get hard. But amongst it all, if one has answered that very important question, why are you doing it? The answer to that is what will make you not stop at anything.
Yes. Now as a CFO, you've basically kind of had to engage with almost, the what do you guys call them, the 4 pillars of a CTA? It's taxation, financial reporting, auditing, and?
Yeah, and assurance.
Yes.
Assurance, yes.
So, you've kind of touched all of them. As a young person who's watching right now, who's maybe writing their CTA final exams and thinking, what do I do now? Where do I go? Which one do I like? Do I choose what I like? What was that decision making for you at the initial stages?
Yeah. For me to choose being an accountant, mainly I wanted to work in the bank.
Okay.
Because I thought when you see the guys who are there counting that money, somehow it belongs
to you also.
But as and when you grow in your career, you get to learn that it's not just about that.
Yes.
It is about what impact do you want to make in the society, what impact do you want to make in the profession as well in your family.
Yeah. Earlier on, I alluded to the ethical nature that one needs to have. Have you come across that ethics is quite the fundamental and basis of the accountancy profession?
Let me put it this way. There's been a fear when people spoke about the 4th industrial revolution, that accountants' jobs are going to be replaced.
Yes.
And when I look at it, and in most of the discussions that I had with my peers, I've always said, to a certain extent, what will be replaced and is replaceable, perhaps is the accuracy on preparing of financial statements and the like.
Yes.
But one thing that machines will never have is ethics.
Yes.
Now that is the core. That for me is the only thing that distinguishes us. Why, when you said audit and I said even assurance,
Yes.
it is because the assurance part is the one that calls and demands the highest level of integrity, independence. Accountants are no longer people who are just going to balance the balance sheet. Ethics is when we talk about assurance. That's where ethics comes in. And that's all we sell. That's all we offer. That's all we give.
If you look at how our morality in the country, you know, it's small things. It's paying off the traffic, you know, officer when he stops you. It's your parents arriving home with stationery and your mom is a teacher. Where does the stationery come from? You know, it almost sometimes feels like small things. And I like how you put it, because a small thing, especially in the space that you guys are in, can really snowball and very quickly.
Yes.
I want to talk IRBA and the accreditation that has now been awarded to ACCA. When you first heard of it, what was your reaction to it?
I was excited, though, I must be honest.
Yeah.
It's a long, long battle.
Yes.
But it was worth it.
Yes.
It means a lot to not just the ACCA family, but to the country as well.
Yes.
Now, the IRBA recognition allows the ACCA now, with no shame, with no fear, to offer that assurance.
Yes.
And I put my name there and say anyone who wants to know, any stakeholder that uses this set of financials and want to know whether they are reliable or not,
Be assured.
be rest assured.
Yeah.
So that level of assurance is what, when now IRBA says, thou shalt go and provide that assurance. They are aware and they know we are properly trained. We are ready. We have been doing this in other countries. It was South Africa and few other countries perhaps that we still had to come and give that assurance. And this is what the country needs.
Yes. And do you perhaps see it encouraging more of our CTA students to go in the audit direction, especially those who are graduating through ACCA?
Definitely, and there's been a lot of interest as well, I must say. I've got a lot of calls from people who are in CTA, even qualified CAs, who perhaps maybe would have wanted to apply for a test function through CYCA, then they say, oh, there's no difference anymore. What is your path that side? How long does it take you? What is it that you need to go through? You explain to them. They say, okay, let me go think about it. But that interest and that appetite wouldn't have been there if that recognition was not there.
Absolutely.
And also, even when you're still doing when you're still growing into the profession, it was difficult for some people to say proudly that I am studying this route, because they will then say, but you won't be able to sign audits. Why are you doing that? So that thing is gone.
The future of CFOs, you see it as no longer just being about the qualification, but about much more. What is that much more?
Much more for me, you need to ask yourself what is expected of you as a CFO. It's not to please. There is someone who once said, if you want to be a pleaser, go sell ice cream. Right there, when we compromise our ethics, when we compromise our integrity, when we compromise our independence, to say, if I say no here or I do not recommend this, what is it going to mean to me as a person? It has to be, if I compromise this, what is it going to mean to the rest of the stakeholders? And then I must put myself last. If I can't do that, I should not be a CFO.
Would you consider going outside the country and working for an institution outside of South Africa?
To be honest, I love my country.
That much?
I love South Africa. You've got no reasons to leave it.
Yeah.
With whatever challenge that could be there, there are challenges anywhere and everywhere. And those challenges that are there are not the challenges that one can go out there and say, this is a deal breaker. It's the reason why you must do something about it. I once said at some stage, I used to follow a lot, which I still do, is stage theater. And I watched a lot of those. I was actually at some stage thinking maybe I will one day be an actor. Yeah, you know.
Yes.
And I said, if I leave the country at all, will I still be able to come across the kind of theater that you have in South Africa?
That's a no.
But also our country. I mean, if you haven't traveled to places like your Mpumalanga, the panorama route. Oof. And if you go there and you come back and you still feel like you want to leave this country, there must be something wrong with you. I'm telling you.
Now, I'm sure somewhere out there they call you Mr. Clean Audits. Are we going to get a clean audit for the National Heritage Council? Are you confident and you're going to ensure that?
For me, I always believe that it's a teamwork.
Absolutely.
And where there is a will, there is a way.
Yeah.
As long as we work together towards that clean audit, because you are not going to get a clean audit by talking for it.
Yes.
You're going to be clean.
Yes.
Now, you feel it yourself first, even before the auditor comes and say you are clean. You clean irrespective of whether in your house you will take visitors to that room.
Absolutely.
You must make it clean.
Yeah.
Visitors may visit and end in the dining room, on the sitting room. It doesn't mean we must only clean where they will come.
Where they can see.
Because sometimes we miss the reason for that clean audit. It's not for us to shine, to have good CVs. No, it is for us to give assurance to the taxpayers.
My father used to always ask you after an exam, did you pass? And then you say, the marks are not out. So why do you need the marks? You should know if you passed. And alludes to what you said. You should already feel the cleanliness before they tell you that you are clean. Now, of course, our channel is called The Financial Bunny, and it would be amiss for me not to ask you a personal finance question. And mine today is, I mean, we always talk about every family needs to have a CFO, right, of the personal finances, the family's finances. And it's been quite an interesting journey just speaking to different people, especially like married couples and understanding how they manage their finances. How does one broach that conversation in an intimate relationship setup without making the other person feel uncomfortable?
You know, for me, I've learned that even when it comes to driving, I might be behind the wheel. But my wife will be the one saying, you're driving too fast.
Yes.
So my first cop is not the one on the street.
It's the one next to you.
My first cop is this one.
Yes.
So as well, even when it comes to financial management, let us be honest. We are partners for a reason. There's somewhere where no matter how good you are in numbers, there are some numbers that you must leave alone.
I like that. Yes. That's excellent. And what is the number one money rule that you have lived through, that you teach your children, that, you know, if all else fails, if you just follow this one rule, at least you got 50%?
Firstly, for me, for my kids, what I think is the most important lesson, which should also shape and channel how they choose a career.
Okay.
No money comes to you without you having earned it. Because sometimes we chase more money than doing what will earn the money.
Sure.
Because the risk is you may get money anywhere. Many means of getting money, most of them being illegal. So it has to start by, for me, the most important principle, even if my kids comes across money on the road, don't pick it.
You didn't earn
It's
it.
not yours.
Yes.
Because I don't want to bring a culture of getting what you did not work for.
Absolutely.
Unless if it's the lottery. You still have to
But you had to work, and that's psychological work.
and think hard about numbers.
Yes.
So, but otherwise, for me, the first rule is work for it.
We've got a student who's watching right now. They are busy with their ACCA journey. What is the best piece of advice you can give them?
My best piece of an advice to them is they must know why they're doing it. We have many people who went to finance mainly because they thought they will get jobs. And when they don't get jobs, then they start to feel like they should not have studied this thing.
Yes.
That we do not study just to go look for jobs. Go out and also create jobs.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can be shocked how many instruments are out there that the government has to assist startups. It's information that we must, and unfortunately, we may sit with a lot of youth have got a lot of time on social media. But I ask myself, what are they searching? Now, for a person who's up and coming, wanting to follow the ACCA journey, my challenge to them is, while you might be fascinated by what is there in social media and the like, use also that Wi-Fi, the data that you have, to research on if I am to start a business, while I'm still studying, what is it that I'm going to study? What is it that I'm going to start?
Yes.
And what is it that people need? Because they say a successful business is not the one that you're just going to come into competition on things that are already existing. It's to solve a problem.
Yes.
It's to solve a challenge.
Absolutely.
And let it be a demand. But how am I going to know when I go to social media, all I want is entertainment. And that is what I follow. So I end up just being a bookworm, study, qualify, and then I say, where do I go?
And I think just as we close it off, that was for the student who's going on the journey. What about the student who's written their board exams and they failed?
Yes, failing is part of preparation. It's like falling. It happens in boxing, it happens when we run. That's how we learn. What is it that we do not know? And it is worth waking up if you know why are you doing it. So I will say this by myself. It took me a long time. I mean, if I show you my academic record, I had 7%, I think, on financial reporting, my first exam. And this following year, I think I got about 33%.
Wow.
And I was happy. But
well, that's an improvement. So you're failing forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm failing the right way.
Yes, yes.
Not to say you have to fail, but I'm saying if you fail,
yes,
pick yourself up, go and give it your all. And until they are tired by failing you, that day you will know you've done everything to pass.
I absolutely love that. We must all endeavor to fail forward, fail towards the pass, because that is knowing that you are actually moving in the right direction.
Exactly.
Mr. Manenzhe, you've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your journey. And I think all of the nuggets, I think anybody who's sitting here watching this can feel just the passion for the industry that you're in. They can feel that you actually went through the ACC journey. And I'm hoping that you guys can reach out to him if you are looking to engage a little bit more. And check out his LinkedIn. He shares quite a lot of information around industry standards, policy, you know, what he would like to see the industry do and in which direction he'd like to move it in.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much for all your time. And also for the passion that you have for the profession. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it, guys. Remember that none of the videos that we do on this channel constitute as financial advice. If you are, however, looking for financial advice, please find the right certified professionals. And with that, thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next one.